Hey guys, Gerald Richardson here. So I was asked to go over a flip where it wasn't as profitable as these videos that I just recently posted, or even was a net loss. Thankfully, knock on wood, I have not yet lost money on a real estate deal. There's been times where it's been close, such as this property I'm about to go over with you guys that's located in Louisburg, North Carolina. In real estate investing, you want to be able to evaluate the project and consider multiple exit strategies. What I mean by multiple exit strategy is this. When I look at properties that I'm considering purchasing, I will look at several things. What is the after repair value, the ARV? What are their estimated repair costs? What is the area's rental rates? How strong is the market in the area? Is it in a good location with amenities and a strong local economy where people and families want to live? What are the average days on market? Are the listings staying on market for a long or short amount of days? Are they selling above or below list price on average? If I'm looking at a property to flip and for some reason it doesn't sell, will I be able to hold on to this property as a rental? Will it rent? What would be my contingency exit? Which in most times, as a licensed broker, and it doesn't cost me anything to sell my own properties, my contingency would be to list and sell the property to recoup my money or minimize my loss. So in a real estate investing, investors should consider at least two different exit strategies for their properties. Even in my current projects where I'm utilizing a BRRRR strategy, if for some reason I'm not able to do a BRRRR, they should all be good flips, or I can keep them as rentals with good cash flow. Fortunately, with real estate, if you make a mistake that isn't catastrophic, most times you should be able to recover. Historically, real estate values has gone up much like inflation. Obviously, back in 2008 when we had the market slowdown, which by the way is when I started in real estate. There were outside influences and a recession that impacted real estate values during that time. For those that bought a house in 2006 and 2007 at the top of the market, and again, I done that too as well, you were probably underwater until probably 2014. However, if you were able to hold on to your house and not need to resell until 2014, or even now, you're probably doing pretty well. So with this project that I'm about to go over with you guys in Louisburg, North Carolina, there were several challenges that I encountered. And most of these challenges were due to COVID. But let me just go over the numbers and show you the house, and we just go from there. All right, so here's this project I'm about to go over with you guys. So this particular house is a house that I purchased in Louisburg, North Carolina. Here's a picture of it in the front. So this property was in an estate sale that I went under contract with. So the family so the mother passed away and the children lived in Michigan. So they were looking to sell this property. I went under contract with this property before the holidays of 2019. So obviously most people know that the real estate market, and this was before COVID, the real estate market was different back then. So this particular property I bought for $85,000. At the time, I estimated the ARV to be about $185,000. And my plan for this property was just to do pretty much being in there, pretty much just to update it, redo the electrical because it was old electrical, put new windows in, remove one non-load bearing wall, and pretty much update the house from there. Be in and out in about 2 months with a budget of about $50,000 and sell it for $185,000 and make about $50,000 in profit. So that was initially the plan. So again, I was under contract with this property during the holidays of 2019. As we were past the holidays and getting close to closing date on this house, the market started to pick up and it was starting to get strong. Actually, let me go over that a little bit later. Let me just show you the house real quick. So this house is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2,156 square feet on a 0.89 acre lot. The house was built in 1955. So here's the front. As you can see, it's mostly all brick, Cape Cod style house. Here's the front, and here's the back. You can see the back doesn't look so well. You can see here, most of the windows were boarded up. This is where the HVAC system was here. That obviously it was stolen. Here is a propane tank that was tied to the fireplace. It wasn't used. Over here in this area, you guys can't see it, but there were like small little pipes that are sticking out of the ground. So that's an indicator that it had a underground storage tank. Which when I bought this property, I kind of figured as well. So I actually took that into consideration for my budget. And thankfully, when I had the environmental engineer go out there to assess it and provide me a quote to test the ground to make sure it wasn't leaking and to remove the tank, they came in well below what I budgeted for. So I was happy with that. So that was the underground storage tank. Here is where it's a lid to a septic tank. You can see the sewage cleanout pipe here. So this house originally was on a septic tank that was abandoned, and it was connected by the previous owner to the local city's sewer and water. So thankfully, I didn't have to deal with repairing or replacing the septic tank. It was already on city sewage and water. So here's the back. Obviously, the roof needs to be replaced, and I'm gonna go over. So the roof was also an issue too, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So here's the family room. You can see here the house actually had beautiful hardwood floors. So my project the plan was just pretty much just keep the hardwood floors as is and just to refurbish it and bring it out. Of course, obviously the cosmetic was to paint. The ceiling was already smooth. It was just to paint the ceiling too as well. So here is the view here's the family room, and to the right here was the dining room. And this is the view into the dining room as you face from the living room through the dining room into the kitchen. You can see here, the kitchen was very small. So that's why the plan was to remove this part of the wall and this part of the wall. It was determined not to be load bearing. So the plan was to remove these sections of the walls and to open up the kitchen, which again was part of my initial estimated budget. So here's that view. And here's the view of the kitchen as you walk in and you turn to the right. You can see that's really tight. Here's the stove that was here. The sink was against the window over here. It was very tight, and this is part of the wall that I decided to remove. And here's the other view of the kitchen too, facing the other way. And this is part of the wall that we removed. The kitchen. Over here was the sink, or not the kitchen, the windows. Over here was the sink. So there's that. So this was actually the what I call the den, or the bonus room, or the den that was attached to the house sometime. According to the tax records, it was an addition that was added to the house in the 70s. I want to say in the 70s. So the square footage was actually part of the 2,100 square foot of the house. So what we did here was we kept the wood panels and we just painted it. We got rid of the baseboard heat. There was actually already vents in here from the central ductwork, central vac that was already there. So we just removed the baseboard heat, put in new floors here. So the issue, and I mentioned the roofer. So I had the roof replaced with a new roof. However, during the roofer, he didn't properly put the flashing around the sill or around the chimney. So this particular room actually got flooded from water that came through around the chimney. So after we put the new floors in and we started doing the repairs on the ceiling, water came in and totally screwed that up. So that was a minor headache during that time. All right, so here's the bathroom. It's hard to tell, but this house actually had two bathrooms, one on the first floor and one on the second floor. This bathroom was on the first floor. In the bedrooms, so it had 4 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms on the first floor and 2 bedrooms on the second floor. So this was the bathroom that was next to the 2 bedrooms on the first floor. You can kind of see here it's really tight. Over here was the tub. Over here was the sink, the vanity with 1 sink, and in this corner was the toilet. So it was very tight. But again, my initial plan was just go in and update this bathroom, keeping it in its current location. Probably update the vanity, refurbish the tub, and I think we were going to keep the toilet. But it was pretty much to keep the bathroom as is, just update it. Was my initial plan. Here is one of the main bedrooms on the first floor, which we end up making this the master suite. There was a room right next to that too, in between the bathrooms to the left, over in this direction. And this was the bathroom on the second floor. You can see this was also tight with the tub, sink, and toilet. And again, this was on the second floor. And this is one of the rooms that was on the second floor. So the wood panel was actually in great shape. It was actually pretty. I actually thought it looked really nice. So initially my plan was just to refurbish the floors and keep the room the way it looked. As part, I didn't put in as part of my budget to do anything with this room or with both rooms. So that's what this room looked like. All right, so before I get started, let me just go over some of the challenges I have with this house. So again, went on a contract for this house before the holidays of 2019. We closed on this house early February of 2020. So initially, when I went on a contract for this house, initially my plan was the purchase price was $85,000, and my plan was to be in and out of it really quick in about 2 months. Update the house, put new windows, update the electrical, and remove that one non-load-bearing wall in between the kitchen and the dining room. Pretty much just update the house in and out in 2 months for $50,000 and resell it for $185,000. And at the time, back in 2019, that's what I determined the after repair value was. So that was the initial plan. So when we actually closed in February, while I was still, keeping my eye out on gauging how the market was in that area, so the market actually started to pick up really strong in Franklin County. I even determined that the new or the updated ARV value for this house when we did close in February was about $215,000. So it actually, in my opinion, I thought the house actually was worth $215,000 if I'd done just some minor changes to the house. So what I did, initial budget was $50,000, but now that I saw that the ARV for the house based on that square footage was about $215,000, I decided to put a little bit more money into the budget and do some more changes to the interior of the house. So the plan was with the 2 main bedrooms on the main floor, with it being actually this was wrong. All right, so yeah, no, it was right. So you see here, when we first got it, it was 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. So my plan was to actually get rid of one of the bedrooms and make it into a ensuite bathroom for the master suite on the first floor. So I converted so the plan was to convert that one room into the bathroom for the master suite, and for the existing bathroom, make that into a half bath and put the laundry in there with the half bath. So that was the plan. So we were going to, and that was just, we determined with my contractor at the time that it would have been, maybe another $5,000 just to do that. Of course, we had to go through permitting with the county in order to do that. But I felt that with the new ARV of about $215,000, it was worth it to do that. And so that was initially the plan. So we got started. When we closed in February, we did all the demo. I had an environmental engineer out there to remove the underground storage tank. We removed that wall in the kitchen, and we pretty much we're pretty much set along the way with the with the renovations. However, as you all know, that COVID hit us in March of 2020, and pretty much everything stopped, or initially stopped, with the project. So the county, while I was trying to still get through the permits through the county pretty much closed up, and, until further notice. So that was a challenge at the time, was COVID, and that I couldn't, pretty much the renovation stopped. We actually sat for a couple months because there was a lot of things that were unknown at the time with COVID. So the house sat for about two months unattended. By the time I was able to get my contractor back out there, a lot of his guys actually got sick. So that kind of sucked, and they couldn't do the work. So this house, my guy, my contractor, he tried to do as much as he could by himself, going out there, when he could, during the COVID times, to try to do the work. We did get a lot of stuff done at the time. We got a new HVAC system out, or HVAC, heat pump, wall remove, we got new cabinets in, we refurbished the floor, we started the conversion of the 1 bedroom to the bath. I was working with the county. Once the county did open up, during limited hours, during that time, I was trying to, get the permits through for electrical and for the bathroom. So everything was moving kind of slow, but then the house, my contractor got busy, and of course he had issues with COVID too himself. So the house pretty much sat for a while, and there was a lot of uncertainty at the time. So being that the house we started renovation, at one point I did consider bringing in another contractor. I even talked with other contractors, but basically, and I knew that with new contractors, when they come to a new project, even though you may have work done with the house, most times the contractor is going to want to pull it all out and start all over. So pretty much, with the amount of money I already invested with the renovation so far, I knew that if I brought in another contractor, I pretty much will be starting all over, and probably my budget will double. So I took that into consideration, and I actually decided to recoup my loss and sell it to another investor, pretty much at a price that would have gave me about a $15,000 loss. So that was initially the plan after COVID, and I couldn't get any other work done on the house, was to decide to sell it as is to another investor, with me losing about $10,000 to $15,000. So this was going to be my first net loss on a flip, since I've been in real estate. Started real estate in 2008. So under contract with this investor, the investor actually decided to drop out. She decided that it wasn't, So the reason why she decided was that, so we did have the roof replaced, but the roofer messed up with the flashing around the chimney. And what happened after a storm was that this entire room was flooded. So when she saw that, she backed out. And understandably, there was a lot of unknowns too that she was dealing with COVID, and trying to start this project. A lot of unknowns with the house too as well. So I understand. So she pulled out. So the next thing I ended up deciding to do was to put it on the open market, as is, which I did. And what happened when I did put it on the market is that I received a lot of interest. A lot of investors, a lot of buyers, they were very interested. And I actually was in the process, I received a lot of offers to the point where I was going to, with a lot of offers I did receive, was that I was going to actually come out of this deal without losing any money at the time. Or, one or two deals or offers I received, I was actually going to make about, a couple thousand in profit potentially. So I did receive a lot of offers, but actually was contacted by another investor, and they proposed to me was to do a JV, a joint venture, for where they will come in and finish the renovation, and we would sell it and split the profits. So at the time when I put it on the market, the market started to pick up again. And the estimated ARV that we determined at the time for this house, for this area, went from 215 when I closed on the property to now we were thinking that was going to be worth, and of course this was later on in the year, I guess, yeah, fall of 2020, and it was determined that the ARV was going to probably be about 255. So that's why this investor was asked or proposed for them to finish the renovation and for us to flip it or resell it and split the profits. So my thought at the time was, okay, at this point, what did I have to lose? My holding cost was pretty high at that time. I did, had offers where I was going to pretty much recoup all my money out of it, but with the thought of this other investor taking over the renovation and the cost of that, potentially I could have come out on top. So I decided to go with this other investor in the JV deal. So what this other investor did was they came in with their contractors and they completed the flip. You can see here that they, even though they sort of kept with my designs for the house, they did end up putting a little bit higher finishes into this flip, and I'll show you with some of these pictures. With this particular, with them painting the brick, I wasn't really too thrilled with them painting the brick, but it was actually a suggestion or recommendation. So this was a recommendation that the investor received from her real estate broker, and so as part of this joint venture agreement I have with this investor, she insists on bringing her own real estate agent on this. So, and I agreed to that, knowing that it's going to probably cost us money on the back end, but she insisted on doing that. So this investor, they decided to paint this brick. They actually painted it twice, so they ended up doing this twice. The roof was redone. They actually poured this new sidewalk. My plan at the time was not to do the concrete work. It was actually just to put in some P-rock, outline it and put some P-rock in. But they decided to bring in, and because they felt that it needed the sidewalk in order to get the higher ARV that they wanted to do. And this was the outside. So again, I did remove the propane tank. I had the underground storage tank removed using an environmental engineer. I installed the HVAC system here in this cage, and the new investor, she pretty much they painted the brick again. And this is what the family room looked like, or the living room. Again, the hardwood floors was still there. We just I refurbished it. The new investor, she came in and paint the walls with this agreeable gray, and she even furnished it with her staging furniture. And this is the view. So again, when from the family room to the right was the dining room, and the view into the kitchen. So this is what that view is. You can see here that when I removed this wall here, I pretty much opened up the kitchen. I brought in cabinets, and then the investor, she finished the look. I actually had the countertops already installed. Her contractors just finished up the drywall, and they installed this fan here. But yeah, this is what it looked like with the with the wall removed. We pretty much opened up the kitchen, and I thought it looked nice. This is what I envisioned when I purchased the house with the plans to remove this wall. So that's what that looked like, the dining room. Here's the view of the kitchen from the other side. Again, I bought this farm style sink. Backsplash wasn't my choice, but this is what the other investor did. She put in a little bit higher fixtures with the sink, again with this fan and with this light here. The cabinets was already installed, the cabinets, but she came in and she put the little fixtures on the cabinets and she painted it white. Initially, I didn't want to go with the white look. My plan was to go with the keep the gray quartz countertops and go with a different color cabinets. I was actually thinking the sage green, but with the new investor, she came in. She wanted to keep it white, keep it with the gray and the white tones. This is a luxury vinyl plank that we put down, gray luxury vinyl plank, because the kitchen didn't have hardwood floors, so we had to put new floors in. And this is one of the bedrooms on the main floor that I converted to a bathroom. I brought in the separate tub, but the new investor, she brought in this upgraded shower. So I thought it looked pretty well done. Again, with the plans of us trying to get a higher price point, she wanted to do a little bit higher on the end fixtures. And this was the den. We put the new floors in and pretty much painted the wood panels and fixed the ceiling from the leak that occurred from the issue with the flashing. And of course, we brought the roofer out there to redo the roof and the flash around the chimney. And this is the room that was on the second floor. Again, initially my plan was not to do anything for the room, just refurbish the floor, which we did. Refurbish the floor, but the other investor, she decided to paint the walls gray. I mean, it did come out really well, but I just thought it wasn't needed. All right, so let me go over the numbers with you guys. So again, I purchased this house for $85,000. I used a hard money loan, 15% down. My loan fees, which include the service fee, came out to be $4,170. The other expenses at the time was the prorated taxes and insurance I got on the property, which ended up requiring me to bring $18,815 cash to the closing. Let's see. So the total renovation cost came out to be $106,000. So $37,000 of that was what I put into the deal. Again, initially my budget was $50,000. We did most of the work up front, but because the new investor brought her contractor in, and the contractor decided to end up ripping out a lot of the work that my first contractor did, and she ended up spending, you can't see it here, but she ended up spending $69,000 was her renovation cost. So with the $37,000 plus her $69,000, the total renovation came out to be $106,000. The holding cost was $19,500, and that was my loan fee. So again, initially my plan was to hold the property for 2 months, but we ended up holding it for a year. And again, that's with the issues that I encountered with COVID, hold on to the property, and having the new investor doing her work, which we ended up holding the property for a full year, and it cost me $19,500 for the whole cost. We ended up selling it for $270,000. Again, when I went under contract with this property, I estimated the ARV to be $185,000 back in 2019. When I closed on the property early 2020, the ARV was $215,000. And when the other investor came in, we determined the ARV to be $255,000, and that reflects how quickly the market changed in 2020 as we headed into 2021. We ended up listing it for $265,000 and going on contract and selling it for $270,000. Zero concessions. Closing costs came out to be $18,000, and I put a star here to show you that that was most of it was her listing agent's fee. Again, the investor was insists on bringing her listing agent, and the listing agent charges 6%. So 6% on 270 plus her marketing fees. So we end up, most of that was with the listing agent. And I showed it, and I revisited this with the listing agent, or not, with the other investor when it was ready to relist, and I told her, hey, again, I can put as a licensed agent, I can put the house on the market. We can save on closing costs. But again, with the JV agreement I would have with her, she felt it was better to have her listing agent list the house. So we ended up paying more than, in my opinion, what was needed for closing costs. So overall, we end up profit a total of $35,000, and we end up splitting equally, which came out to be $17,500 each. So basically, the return on investment was about 14.8%. And if you just look on the cash, we made about 91 return on investment when you look at it from a cash perspective. Yeah, so that's pretty much the deal. So again, bought this house holidays of 2019, hit COVID. I was prepared to lose about $10,000 to $15,000 on this by selling it to another investor, to put it on the open market, because again, I couldn't get any contractors back out there, and just to sell it at a net zero loss, to end up bringing in another investor who brought her own contractors and ended up making a total of $35,000, split $17,000 each. So again, thankfully I have not lost money yet in real estate, and this project was pretty close. I ended up holding the property for a little bit longer, and thankfully I was lucky enough that the market survived COVID, and it ended up being really strong. In 2021, early 2021. And that's when we ended up selling it, early 2021. So yeah. So again, that goes to show you that you can make mistakes in real estate, and as long as it's not catastrophic, you can survive it. As long as you are you're flexible enough, you pivot, you evaluate different exit strategies, and you just go from there. So some of you may ask, how come I just didn't keep the house and keep it as a rental? So that was initially that was one of my exit strategies, but however, because of COVID, lenders were pretty much closed up shop. So I couldn't refinance out of the hard money deal into a fixed loan for rental, because at the time no lenders were doing it. And by the time the lenders did opened up and was willing to do that, I was pretty much already committed, as far as trying to recoup my costs by putting it back on the market, and again going into a JV agreement with another investor. So yeah, so basically those are the numbers. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Again, I think I was lucky enough with this particular project to not have lost money. I ended up making some money. So just let me know if you guys have any questions. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys with the next video. So alright, so with this video, this is actually not part of my initial 3 video series. This is actually a +1. So I'm actually adding this to the 3 video series, because someone asked me about, asked me to go over a project where I lost money. And again, since 2008, I've been in real estate since 2000. I haven't lost money yet, but this is probably one of the closest ones where I was going to lose money. But yeah, so that's pretty much this project, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, talk to you later. Bye.